There's a famous account of old Billy Little, who was the first person to go down to the Angus Downs country. He was perishing, and there were some ants going up a tree, and the ants went to a hollow where there was water. And I was very lucky to be out once with there was an outcrop of rock covered by sand at each end. It was a sand hill. It's not marked on the maps because it's covered by sand, except there's rock there. We went there, and it's about as big as the complex from the library through to the council chambers, only a little skerrick higher than the sand hill, and that was a place we'd gone offline with. It to be very unusual, but the main man who'd been guiding us, he was nursing an old man who was ill in the back, and we got on the wrong side of a sand hill, so he spun right off to the north. And when that happened, we were looking for this other water hole. I said, we're in trouble here. We're going to run out of water if we're way near the West Aussie border. And so he looked at this little outcrop, and he'd never been there, but he knew what its name was from where we were looking further south. About 20 miles further south was where we were meant to be, and there's a line of hills there. So he sang the song for that, and when he sang the song, he said there must be good water here on the song. And then so he looked around the top of it, and there was a little tiny rock hole up the top, and he said, well, that's the water that everyone else said. We've found it now, and there's a little millstone there, grinding stone. But he said, no, it's not big enough. And so we were out there, and I was making a note about all the hills in the distance, and he went searching. He gave us a call, which is a particular Penderby call. We went down the side of the slope, so it was about like being equivalent to as high as this, the first floor of this building, more or less. And there were little ants going in. There was a hole in the rock about as big as my finger, and he had got a stick, and he said, listen, listen. And he splashed inside, and there was a little reservoir within the rock. And I knew how they'd done it from reading, but I said, how'd you get it out? And he said, you wrapped a bit of very fine grass around there and acted like a little sponge, and you got enough to drink. That was a bloke I would have, if I'd been getting dropped off in the Sahara without her, I would have liked old Arthur to jump in under with me. I reckon I would have had a tail. He'd pull a goanna off a London bus too.